Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 30 is now officially in the history books, as today we're going to be diving in depth and viewing the English translations by Viz Media and further understanding what's being said by our characters, as this is the official recruitment process prior to the Tournament of Power beginning, and which showcases some very interesting things that we've never seen done before in the anime, alongside further character development for Jiren in the manga as opposed to the anime. And again, I do want to say that if you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button alongside enabling all notifications by clicking that bell icon. That way you guys can be notified whenever a brand new Dragon Ball video is posted onto this channel, connection to news, information, updates, spoilers, and discussions. Hashtag Dragon Ball Squad, as we kick off Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 30 with Son Goku having to speak to Toppo following their battle and saying, "But since you're a candidate to be a god of destruction, I thought that you would be the strongest," with Toppo having to follow and saying that's because Jiren isn't interested in becoming a god of destruction just like you. Anyways, there's not much time before the tournament. We'd better hurry up and excuse ourselves, with Goku having to say, "Yeah, that's right, this is great," with Toppo having to say, "What's so great about this?" with Goku having to say, "I'm glad that there's incredible guys like you and that they're even stronger guys, even more powerful than you out there as well. Now I'm really stoked about this tournament," with Toppo having to say, "You're strange, you know that?" And as he goes back to Vermouth, Vermouth says, "Good job, you did well." And with that, we go back to Beerus as he says, "Crap, with Goku like that, there's no way that we're gonna win," with Whis having to follow by saying, "Don't be so sure. When faced with a crisis, Saiyans become stronger." He probably already knows that, that's why he's so happy, with Beerus having to follow by saying, "I doubt he's thought that far ahead." And as that happens, the Grand Priest goes on to say, "And with that, everyone, after what we had observed in the match, there are going to be a set of change of rules. Please choose 10 contenders from each of your universes, excluding gods such as gods of destruction." As Sidra even says, "Damn, that's more than I expected," as Daishinkan goes to say, "We're going to simplify the rules some more. In the Tournament of Power, all you have to do is knock your opponent out of the ring," with Goku having to say, "Wait, that's it? And what if your opponent actually collapses in the ring?" with Daishinkan having to reply by saying, "Then you can just toss them out. Of course you can't kill them, but the timer will be set at 100 attacks," with Goku wondering what it is, with Whis confirming it is 48 minutes. And as that happens, Goku says, 48 minutes? Isn't that a little too long? If each person has to fight that long, I mean, this thing will go on forever. And then that's when Beerus slaps him and saying, "Quit opening your mouth, my apologies," with the Grand Priest having to say, "No problem, it wouldn't take long, so no need to worry. It'll only be one match, that is to say all fighters will be fighting at once," with Goku having to say, "Wait, all of them?" and Daishinkan having to say, "Don't worry, it'll take place in a big ring," and everyone's concerned as Daishinkan says, "Everyone that'll fight during that time and the team with the most amount of members remaining by the end will win. Of course, if there is only one person remaining, that contender's team wins as well," with Katella having to say, "So they're applying that battle royale rule from before," as Kai goes on to say, "Still, if there's going to be 10 people from each universe, then the number of people participating will be on a completely different scale," with Shin having to say, "Teamwork is going to be really important," with Beerus having to say, "Which Saiyans suck at, by the way," and Daishinkan having to say, "As with the tournament between Universe 6 and 7, the Super Dragon Balls will be given to the strongest fighter as they have their wish granted. I trust that'll satisfy you, Champa. Please hand over the 3 that you already have, and we will collect the remaining ones ourselves," which has never happened before in the anime, as the Daishinkan never really requested Champa to hand over Dragon Balls, as Champa looks like he crapped his pants and saying, "Oh, okay." And that's when Beerus says, "You jerk, you still haven't learned your lesson and you were gathering them again?" with Champa having to say, Shut up." And that's when the other Kai from Universe 3 says, "May I ask a question?" as the Daishinkan says yes, with the Kai having to say, "Well, I understand that the strongest fighter will be given the Dragon Balls, but will the winning universe also get anything?" in which the Grand Priest ultimately just says no, their prize will be that we don't do anything to them, with Beerus having to say, "What do you mean by not do anything to them?" as the Grand Priest says, "We won't do anything to the winning universe, but the universes that lose will be erased from existence by the Lord of Everything." Of course, following the principles of the anime, everyone is shocked to hear this, as Katella says, What did he just say?" as Beerus says, "What the heck?" and we get to see how he's so nervous. We see sweat drops dropping down as the Grand Priest says, "The Lord of Everything said there are way too many universes, so this is a good opportunity to clear some of you out." As the Daishinkan never stated this to everybody publicly, publicly in the anime, as Whis goes on to say, "This has become more serious than I thought," with Beerus having to say, "This is far worse than I could have ever imagined," with Vermont having to say, "So you're essentially saying that there is only going to be one universe left, is that it?" With Daishinkan having to say, "It won't only be one, universes 1, 12, 5, and 8 will also remain," as even Halise is like, "Wait, but why them?" As the Daishinkan says, the average mortal level in those 4 universes are over 7, so that is why they are exempt from this tournament, and they seem to be very happy, as Arok says, "Wow, we're saved," and Licor having to say yes, and Kittel is very mad by saying crap. Even Jin's Kaioshin says, "It's a good thing that we took our jobs seriously." So these universes actually took their jobs very seriously and focusing on the mortal levels, in which the Grand Priest says, "Not to worry, all of the gods besides the guide angels will be erased together along with their universe." And everyone's panicking about this, as Whis says exempt, meaning that the real objective is the tournament to give the low-level universes the opportunity to fight back, otherwise being wiped out immediately. A chance to be spared as a reward if they should actually win. In this tournament, that's the feeling that I'm getting so far, with the Daishinkan having to say, "As usual, Whis, your hunch is spot on." As Beerus even says, "Wait, Whis, is our universe that low of a level?" With Whis having to say, "Yes. The average level of the planets with mortals on them in Universe 7 is 3.18. That's not really good, it's the second to last." As Beerus says second to last, "Wait, this is all your fault, Kaioshin. This is all your fault. You're always foolishly going around and about how a planet obtains higher levels with its own strength. For that matter, it's all your fault," with Shin having to say, "Me? You're the one that's always asleep half the damn time," with the Grand Priest having to say, "The tournament will take place in a special ring in the world of Void. I will send you there myself, so please gather in a location of your choosing, and of course with your respective members. Those who will be late will be left behind, so take caution," with Goku having to say, "So how long do we have before the tournament?" with Whis having to say, "An excellent question. Just about a short 39 hours. With the Grand Priest having to say also, "Just to be safe, the use of weapons and medicine is of course forbidden. If they are detected, you and your entire team will be disqualified, so please take caution regarding that too." With the Grand Priest having to say, "And with that, let me return you all home. You don't have long, so please hurry in making the proper preparations," in thus sending everyone home. And as they all come back, Beerus, the first thing he does is he clops Goku across the head, and Goku having to say, "That hurt, what was that for?" With Beerus having to say, "That's for ignoring my warning. I told you not to get involved with the Lord of Everything, and now look what the kind of mess we're in." With Goku having to say, I couldn't help it. I mean, I never expected it to turn out like this." With Shin having to say, "Wait a second, Lord Beerus, judging from what the Grand Priest said, we were originally going to get wiped out to begin with, but thanks to Goku, we're being given a chance." As Beerus goes on to say, "Still, there could have been another way to go about things other than fighting. Now our universe is going to be wiped out. It's all over." With Goku having to say, "What do you mean? I mean, it'll work out if we win." With Beerus having to say, "Shut up, if we win? You say that if we win after losing to that guy from Universe 11? With Goku having to laugh and saying, "Yeah, well, he's pretty tough." And that's when Shin says, "Both of you, knock it off. We have to gather all the contenders right now." And of course, that's when Goku says, "You're lucky, even if we lose, you still won't be erased, Whis." With Whis having to say, "Ho, that's because I'm merely a guide dispatched by them." In which, as we get to see Shin, he seems to be very remorseful at the idea that innocent people are gonna die all because of this one tournament. And that's when Goku says, "Maybe I'll go ask the Lord of Everything to call off this whole tournament to begin with." And that's when Whis cuts him off by saying, "I wouldn't do that if I were you. Zeno and the Grand Priest decided this, and if you offend them, you'll just be erased." With Beerus having to say, "Huh. So now do you understand how frightening he is? Took you long enough." With Shin having to say, "I guess it looks like we're just gonna have to need you guys to take care of this." And Goku seems to be happy and saying, "We'll just have to do it. All right, let's show them what we got." With Beerus having to say, "Then let's go to Bulma's house and take care of this." As essentially everything seems to be the same as reflected onto the anime. However, back on Universe 11, we see how Vermont sits down and saying, "Oh, so Beerus has really gone out and done it this time." With Vermont saying, "Our universe will be fine, it's no big deal, and I've learned that the Super Dragon Balls are a real thing." With Margarita having to say, "Indeed, they grant any wish." As Vermont says, "Yeah, and that alone makes them a pretty big catch. Hey Topo, can you gather the 10 guys from the Pride Troopers? With Toppo having to say, they're doing their own things right now in their own separate locations, but I'll sure summon them at once. With Verma having to say, whatever you do, make sure to bring Jiren. As Toppo says, yes sir, he gets on his spaceship and he leaves. And as Vermont sits down and relaxes, the Kai says, will it be alright to leave things in the hands of the Pride Troopers? With Verma having to say, why do you ask? As the Kai goes on to say, although they're on the side of justice, they're all originally just a motley crew of people with different ideologies and backgrounds. I wonder if they'll gather quietly, as Vermao goes on to say, we only need one left alive, right, to win. With Margarita having to say that's true, as he goes on to say, as long as Jiren comes, we won't have a problem. After him, anybody will do. With the Supreme Kai having to say, will Jiren really come? As Vermont says, don't worry, he will participate. As back in Universe 7, we see how everyone is eating, and that's when Vegeta is informed about the Tournament of Power alongside the rules, as he goes on to say, what? You really messed up big time, Kakarot. As Kakarot says, I know Vegeta, I already got an earful about it, man, lay off. As Bulma comes out and saying, I honestly can't believe you. How much of a fighting nut do you have to be? As Shin says, Goku, we have to hurry and choose the 10 members, and we see how Beerus is eating onions and chickens, and he's just stuffing his face because he knows that this could be the last time he actually eats any kind of food at all, as we get to see how everyone else is discussing the tournament in the 10 participants, as Vegeta says, I'm not going, the baby could be born any day now, and that's when Whis shows up and saying, Bulma, I found a suitable blanket, and that's when Goku says, hey, cut me some slack, man. I can't imagine doing this without you, Vegeta. And that's when Vegeta says, not my problem. And as this is happening, we get to see how Whis opens up his eyes and using the exact same technique he did in giving birth to Bulma's baby. As Bulma says, what? No way. As Whis hands over the baby and saying, there you go, Bulma, there's your baby. Now you can go, Vegeta. And Vegeta's like, oh man, what the heck? And Bulma's like, oh man, this made everything so much easier. Thank you so much, Whis. And Goku's like, wow, I never seen a baby born before, so that's how Chi-Chi did it. As Shin says, no, Goku, I don't think that's, how it happened. And that's when Goku's like, wait, what, really? And as Bulma talks to Vegeta, she says, if this is always like this, I'll have plenty of more babies. Could I just ask you to do this again? With Whis having to say anytime, bearing the erasure of the universe, of course, as Vegeta says, oh yeah, this is no time to be celebrating, my bad. So it'll be a battle royal against everyone, you said? With Bulma having to say, I have a question. How many planets with mortals does Universe 7 have? With Shin having to say, oh, well, with the demise of planet Sadala, Vegeta, and the Namekians, I would have to say 28. With Bulma having to say, wait, you're saying that there's no other strong guys out there? With Shin having to say, well, I haven't really observed the other fighters in terms of combat strength. And that's when Vegeta's like, what the heck? Your job is to research all that stuff. Hearing you say that, I mean, no wonder why our universe is in jeopardy. As Beerus eats and saying, Shin, I wouldn't talk back to her if I were you. You're never gonna win an argument against that one. As Whis goes on to say, well, since there's no time, let us select our team members. Majin Buu, Piccolo, Vegeta, Goku. First will be a continuation of participants from the last tournament, of course, as Goku says, oh yeah, wait, and Monaka. And that's when Whis says, oh yeah, Monaka. And Beerus screams out and saying, no Monaka, no Monaka. And that's when Goku's like, wait, why? That's when Beerus says, because, well, he's not feeling well. And that's when Goku's like, wait, how come? I mean, doesn't he know about the tournament? And Beerus is just saying, no Monaka. And that's when Vegeta's like, that's a low blow. Can Gohan fight? And that's when Goku says, good question. He's busy, so I don't know if he can fight right now or not. And just to let you guys know, Gohan is going to be a part of this. But that's when Vegeta says, there aren't many Saiyans. I mean, let's train him. With Goku having to say, he doesn't like fighting though, Vegeta. What about Goten and Trunks? And that's when Vegeta's like, no, leave the kids out of this. They're not to know about this. And that's when Goku says, I mean, in that case, how about Master Roshi, Ten Shinhan, and Kuririn? And that's when Goku says, oh wait, if Kuririn's coming, then what about his wife, 18? I mean, she's also way stronger, with Vegeta having to say, but she's an android. I mean, is that even allowed? And Bulma having to say, yeah, it should be fine because she was originally human, so she's technically enhanced on a cellular level. As Beerus says, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear about that. As Vegeta goes on to say, I see. Then let's not forget about Android 17 too. As Goku says, Android 17, and Bulma having to say, wait, wasn't 17 a bad guy? Is that going to be okay? With Goku having to say, I don't think he's like that anymore, and Vegeta having to say, do you know where he is? And Goku having to say, no, I have no idea where he is. I can't even feel his ki. I'll just ask Android 18. As Vegeta says, hey, don't forget to pick up some senzu beans. It's always a pain and there'll be 10 of us this time. As Whis goes on to say, Vegeta, I do believe that would be against the rules, with Vegeta saying, wait, what? And Whis having to say, senzu beans are to restore your physical stamina. Unlike magic, it's a natural ability of the contender itself that'll result in a disqualification. With Goku having to say, oh man, so what do we do now? As Shin says, Goku, it'll be fine. You'll have Boo, and he could use his regenerative magic. With Vegeta and Goku having to say, good idea, then I'm gonna go visit Kuririn first. As we head back to Universe 11 and witnessing the Pride Troopers having to fight a massive crab and his army on this planet, in which we get to see Tupper and Dispo and Kunchi and of course Casserole fighting against the crab, as of course the Pride Troopers look like they're having the upper hand on this crab. And what's unique about this is the fact that all the Pride Troopers are gathered together. And unlike the anime, how it was only Dispo and Topo, here we literally have everybody gathered together, as we get to see how at long last the massive crab is about to attack Dispo, as Topo emerges and saying, I'm here to help Dispo. As Dispo says, huh, what a time for our leader to show up, huh? Where have you been? With Topo having to say, Belmont summoned me and he was keeping me busy. With Dispo having to say, huh, life's a cakewalk for a god of destruction, right? With Topo having to say, how's Jiren doing? Where is he? With Dispo having to say, he's on a different planet and it looks like some offset alien escaped from our galaxy prison again, and he said that once the situation is back under control, he'll head here, but that might take a while. With Topo having to say, damn, he's all the way on that remote planet by himself, as we get to see this crab use a very unique technique which freezes everybody in place, as we get to see how Topo says not good, with Dispo having to say I can't move. So everyone seems to be trapped. We don't really know what kind of attack this is, but the Pride Troopers are trying to fight back, as Dispo attempts to use an attack against the crab and saying, take this, you jerk, as Topo says, wait, Dispo, don't. If you miss, you'll endanger all the civilians trapped in the foam too. Don't do it. And then all the way behind the crab, we get to see this mysterious person approach, as everyone seems to be shocked by this and looking up in the air, and it's none other than Superman, aka Jiren the Grey. As he comes crashing down, he pummels this crab with such force in reversing his body structure and throwing him up in the air, and just as he does so, he uses this little gadget on his wrist to literally shrink the crab and sealing him away. As Dispo says, Jiren, that was fast, as Topo says, I thought you were on a planet, with Jiren having to say, I took care of the alien incident, so here I am. With Dispo having to say, wait, you mean you flew here from all the way over there without a spaceship? With Jiren having to say, yes, it was faster that way. With Dispo having to say, damn, you are a fast flyer, aren't you? With Topo having to say, okay, let's hold a quick meeting. I have to talk to you guys about something. With Jiren having to say, wait, first we need to free the people of the city. As we go back to Vermount saying, Jiren is a man who's devoted everything to justice. He doesn't act on self-interest. He won't even kill bad guys. But there is one thing in using the Dragon Balls to bait him to participate. As Margarita says, the Dragon Balls are sure to make him participate, with the Kai having to say, I see. So if we tell him that he could use the winning prize of the Dragon Balls to make his wish come true, then he'll do it. As back on the planet, we get to see how Topo explains the situation to Jiren, and Jiren having to say, I'm sorry, but I'll have to decline. My first priority is protecting the peace of the universe. With Topo having to say, how could you say that? If we lose the match, there will be no universe. With Jiren having to say, then that's the fate of our universe. I'm not about to save our own universe at the cost of having to have others be erased. With Topo having to say, are you really okay with that? You would lose everything you've worked so hard to protect. Is that the kind of justice you want to believe in yourself? With Jiren having to be quiet until Belmont arrives and saying, if you win, your wish could come true, Jiren. With everyone having to be shocked that Vermount's there, even Jiren in looking up as Topo says, hey Jiren, Belmont's asking you directly, are you going to participate? With Jiren having to say, if Universe 11 has any trouble while I'm away, I'm coming right back here. Those are my conditions. With Topo having to say, got it, and Vermount ending things off with a smirk on his face. But the question is, what is Jiren's wish? What does he want to wish for that goes against his principles? Of course, what are your overall thoughts on the Dragon Ball Super manga chapter? What are your overall expectations for certain characters having to be involved, with Gohan having to be missing, at least as for right now, as we do understand he will be in the manga chapter, as of course he is shown in the anime, so there's no reason for Gohan to be excluded. I'm pretty sure that Majin Buu is going to fall asleep, and of course the question lingers, what about Frieza? Post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, guys. Turn on all notifications. If you guys cannot wait for more, slap a like down below, and I'll be seeing you all in the next Dragon Ball video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.